The village's unease continued to grow as more unsettling events unfolded around Jenkins' farm. Early one morning, old Mrs. Thompson swore on her mother's grave that she had seen the Scarecrow standing at the far end of Jenkins' field, an area it was never supposed to be. That afternoon, the Scarecrow was back in its usual place, its hollow eyes staring ominously toward the village. The whispers spread quickly, and soon, no one doubted that the Scarecrow moved on its own. Days turned into nights filled with terror, as villagers began to vanish mysteriously. One by one, beloved members of the community disappeared without a trace. The fear and paranoia that gripped the village were palpable. Families locked their doors and windows, but the disappearances continued, as if the darkness itself was conspiring against them. Adding to the dread were the eerie whispering voices that seemed to emanate from Jenkins and #039 farm. On moonlit nights, the wind carried these voices throughout the village, haunting murmurs that sent shivers down spines and kept even the bravest souls awake. People spoke of hearing their names called out, beckoning them toward the cursed field. The once tranquil village was now a place of fear and suspicion. Every creak of the floorboards, every rustle of leaves outside, filled the villagers with dread. The Scarecrow and #039's curse lay heavy upon them, and with each passing day, the supernatural atmosphere grew more oppressive. The villagers knew they had to uncover the truth behind the lifelike Scarecrow and its connection to Jenkins before the terror consumed them all. As the terror in the village reached its peak, a brave group of villagers decided that they could no longer stand by and watch their loved ones vanish. Led by the village blacksmith, Thomas, and the wise herbalist, Eliza, they convened in secret to plan their investigation of Jenkins' farm and the sinister Scarecrow. On the night of the full moon, the group set out under the cover of darkness, armed with lanterns, pitchforks, and their collective resolve. The wind howled through the trees, and the eerie whispering voices seemed to mock their bravery. As they approached Jenkins and #039 field, the Scarecrow stood ominously, its hollow eyes glowing faintly in the moonlight. Determined to uncover the truth, the group made their way to Jenkins' farmhouse. Inside, they discovered old, dusty books filled with strange symbols and forbidden spells. Hidden beneath a loose floorboard, they found a tattered journal. The journal, written in Jenkins' shaky handwriting, chronicled his descent into dark rituals after the tragic loss of his son. The villagers learned that Jenkins had sought to bring his son back to life by using ancient, forbidden magic. He had created the Scarecrow as a vessel, hoping to imbue it with his son and #039's spirit. But the ritual had gone terribly wrong, binding malevolent energies to the Scarecrow instead. The group in #039's search also yielded artifacts, including bones, talismans, and an ancient grimoire, revealing the true nature of the Scarecrow and its sinister purpose. As the villagers pieced together the horrifying truth, they realized that the Scarecrow and #039's power grew with each fear and sacrifice. The ominous whispers grew louder, as if the Scarecrow knew they had uncovered its secret. The brave group knew they had to act swiftly to break the curse before the Scarecrow claimed more victims. With determination and newfound knowledge, they prepared for a final confrontation, ready to face the dark forces that had haunted their village for far too long. As the villagers, led by Thomas and Eliza, approached Jenkins' farm, their nerves were steeled by determination. They assembled in front of the old farmhouse, lanterns casting long shadows across the field. The air was thick with tension as they banged on the door, demanding answers from the reclusive old man. Jenkins, his eyes weary and filled with a mix of fear and defiance, reluctantly opened the door. The villagers' voices rose in a chorus of accusations and questions, pushing Jenkins to reveal the dark secrets he had tried to hide. Resigned, Jenkins led them to the barn where the lifelike Scarecrow stood ominously. He began to recount the tragic tale of his son's untimely death and his desperate attempt to bring him back through forbidden rituals. Using ancient texts, Jenkins had crafted the Scarecrow with materials imbued with dark magic, hoping to trap his son's spirit within. But something had gone terribly wrong. Instead of reviving his son, the ritual had unleashed a malevolent force that fed on the villagers and #039, fear and sacrifices. Jenkins revealed that the Scarecrow drew its power from the terror it instilled, growing stronger with each disappearance and whispered fear. The villagers listened in stunned silence, their initial anger giving way to a deeper understanding of the curse's true power. They realized that the Scarecrow was not just a physical threat but a supernatural entity, feeding on their collective fear and sorrow. Determined to break the curse, Thomas and Eliza rallied the villagers, their resolve now stronger than ever. They prepared to confront the Scarecrow and #039's dark power head-on, knowing that their unity and courage were the only weapons they had against the sinister forces at play. The villagers, armed with newfound knowledge and a plan to destroy the Scarecrow, braced themselves for the final battle. They knew that the road ahead would be perilous, but with the truth now revealed, they had a glimmer of hope to guide them through the darkness. Determined to free their village from the malevolent Scarecrow's curse, the group of brave villagers, led by Thomas and Eliza, devised a daring plan. They knew they had to destroy the Scarecrow and the dark materials used to create it. Uniting their knowledge of ancient rituals and their collective courage, the villagers prepared for a night that would change their lives forever. Under the cover of darkness, the group gathered at the edge of Jenkins' field. They brought with them the forbidden artifacts and Jenkins' grimoire, which contained instructions for a powerful counter-ritual. The Scarecrow stood motionless in the moonlit field, its hollow eyes seeming to watch every move. With Eliza's guidance, the villagers set up a makeshift altar using the Scarecrow's dark materials. The air was thick with anticipation and tension. The ritual began, and as Eliza chanted in the ancient language, the villagers followed her lead, invoking protective spells to shield them from harm. The ground trembled, and the air grew colder, as if the Scarecrow's dark power was reacting to their defiance. The Scarecrow's appearance became more menacing with each passing moment, its limbs twisting and twitching as if it were alive. The villagers knew they were racing against time, before the Scarecrow unleashed its full wrath. They continued the ritual, burning the cursed artifacts one by one. The flames danced wildly, illuminating the field with an eerie glow. As the final incantation was spoken, the Scarecrow's form convulsed violently before bursting into flames. The villagers shielded their eyes from the intense heat and light. The air was filled with a high-pitched wail, the terrifying sound of the curse being broken. The Scarecrow's ashes scattered in the wind, and the oppressive energy that had long haunted the village began to dissipate. Exhausted yet triumphant, the villagers watched as the remnants of their nightmare were carried away by the wind. The curse was lifted, and peace returned to their village. Though forever changed by the harrowing ordeal, the villagers' unity and courage had prevailed, freeing them from the Scarecrow's sinister power. With the final wail of the Scarecrow's curse echoing into the night, the oppressive energy that had gripped the village for so long began to dissipate. The flames had reduced the sinister Scarecrow to ashes, and the dark influence over Jenkins' farm vanished with it. The villagers, exhausted but victorious, watched as the wind carried away the remains of their tormentor. In the days that followed, the village slowly returned to a semblance of normalcy. Fields that were once shrouded in fear now basked in sunlight. Children played outside again, their laughter a sweet reminder of peace. Families reopened their shutters, and the marketplace buzzed with life. However, the scars of their ordeal were not easily forgotten. Whispers of the Scarecrow and #039's curse lingered, serving as a solemn reminder of the darkness they had faced. Gathering at the village square, the community reflected on the harrowing events. They realized the importance of unity in the face of fear, recognizing that it was their collective bravery and determination that had saved them. They also learned a crucial lesson about the dangers of dabbling in dark arts, an awareness that some secrets are best left untouched. Old Man Jenkins, once a figure of suspicion and mystery, was now seen with empathy. The villagers understood the tragedy that had led him to such desperate measures, and they extended him a compassionate hand, helping him rebuild his life free from the shadows of the past. As the seasons changed, the village embraced a new tradition, lighting lanterns during the fall to honor the memory of their struggle and the unity that had brought them through. The Scarecrow and #039's curse had been lifted, but its lessons remained etched in the hearts of the villagers, guiding them toward a future where fear was met with courage and darkness was overcome by light. In the wake of the terrifying events, the village slowly but surely began to heal. Fields once cloaked in fear became lush and productive again, and the laughter of children playing in the streets returned, restoring a sense of normalcy to the community. The villagers worked together, sharing their resources and supporting one another, with a newfound appreciation for unity and resilience. Old Man Jenkins, now a more somber figure, was embraced by the community. They helped him rebuild his life, free from the dark influence that had once gripped his heart. The once dreaded Jenkins and #039 farm now stood as a testament to the village and #039's triumph over fear and darkness. To commemorate their victory and remember the lessons learned, the villagers established a new tradition. Every year, during the fall, they would gather to light lanterns as a symbol of hope, courage, and unity. The lanterns illuminated the village with warm, soothing light, dispelling any lingering shadows and fostering a sense of peace. However, the scars of the ordeal were not easily forgotten. On quiet nights when the wind howled through the trees, a subtle unease would occasionally grip the village. Whispers of the Scarecrow's curse lingered in the air, and villagers would sometimes glance nervously at Jenkins' field, half expecting to see the sinister figure reappear. The village learned to cherish the light even more, knowing how easily darkness could seep into their lives. The Scarecrow's curse had left an indelible mark on their hearts, a constant reminder of the consequences of succumbing to fear and dabbling in forbidden arts. Yet, despite the occasional shiver down their spines, the villagers found solace in their unity and strength. They moved forward, mindful of their past, and determined to create a future where courage, compassion, and hope would always triumph over fear. As the crisp autumn air set the stage for the annual fall festival, eager festival workers meticulously constructed the corn maze. Tall, golden cornstalks were arranged in intricate patterns, forming winding paths and dead ends designed to both delight and disorient. Workers whispered excitedly about the maze's eerie charm, perfect for the season's festivities. As they put the finishing touches, the atmosphere was a mix of anticipation and an unspoken unease, hinted by the maze's shadowy corners and the creaking wind. On the festival's opening day, families eagerly ventured into the maze, laughter soon giving way to nervous giggles as the paths twisted and turned. Suddenly, the cheerful atmosphere took a chilling turn. Disembodied voices echoed through the cornstalks, whispering indistinguishable words that sent shivers down spines. Shadowy figures flitted at the edge of vision, their presence lingering just out of reach, and cold spots appeared inexplicably, leaving a trail of frost-tipped leaves. Parents clutched their children tighter as the maze seemed to come alive with supernatural energy. Stories spread quickly among the villagers, casting a shadow over the festival's jovial spirit, and whispers of the local legend, the tragic fire and its restless spirits, began to circulate. The corn maze, once a symbol of fall fun, now stood as the epicenter of inexplicable horrors. The fall festival's festive atmosphere quickly turned into one of dread as the hauntings within the corn maze intensified. What began as eerie whispers and fleeting shadows escalated into full-blown paranormal phenomena. Countless reports of ghostly apparitions walking amongst the cornstalks spread fear among festival-goers. The chilling presence grew stronger as unnerving sounds, like distant wails and echoing footsteps, filled the maze. It seemed the spirits grew bolder, their anger more palpable with each passing day. The once joyous maze quickly became a place of terror. Families began to avoid it, and those who dared enter often emerged pale and trembling, recounting their harrowing experiences. The local legend of the tragic fire and the restless spirits of the children became a hot topic, further fueling the villagers' fear and paranoia. As panic gripped the community, the festival authorities faced mounting pressure to act. They convened emergency meetings, weighing the festival's success against the growing danger. Fearing for the safety of the attendees, they considered shutting down the maze entirely. The decision to close such a beloved attraction wasn't easy, but it became clear that desperate measures were necessary to ensure the festival and #039s, and the town's safety. Driven by a mix of curiosity and fear, a group of festival workers assembled to uncover the truth behind the hauntings in the corn maze. Led by an experienced investigator named Samuel, who had dealt with unexplained phenomena before, the team was determined to solve the mystery. Armed with lanterns and resolve, they headed to the old barn that once stood where the maze now loomed. The barn, long abandoned, was a relic of a bygone era, its creaky floors and cobweb-covered rafters adding to the ominous atmosphere. As they moved through the barn's shadowy interior, they searched for any clues that might shed light on the supernatural occurrences. Dusty crates and forgotten tools lined the walls, but it was a loose floorboard that caught Samuel and #039's attention. Beneath the floorboard, they discovered a hidden journal, its pages yellowed with age. As they flipped through the journal, they uncovered the tragic history of the barn fire that claimed the lives of several children decades ago. The journal, written by a grieving parent, revealed the anguish and anger that lingered long after the flames had been extinguished. It spoke of secrets and injustices that had never been revealed. Realizing the spirits of the children were seeking justice or revenge, the team knew they had to act quickly. The hidden journal held the key to understanding the hauntings, and it was up to them to put the restless spirits to peace before the maze claimed more victims. In the dim light of the old barn, the festival workers carefully studied the journal they had unearthed. Its pages, fragile and yellowed with age, held the anguished words of a grieving parent from decades past. The journal detailed the tragic events of a fateful autumn day when a devastating fire consumed the barn, trapping several children inside. The flames had claimed their young lives, leaving behind a community scarred by loss and sorrow. As they read further, the journal revealed dark secrets that the town had long buried. It told of negligence and hidden truths. The barn had been far from safe, and those responsible had escaped accountability. The parents' words were filled with pain and a fierce desire for justice, hinting that the tragedy was more than just an accident. There were whispers of a cover-up and the unspoken guilt that haunted the town's elders. The journal also spoke of the children's restless spirits, their innocent lives cut short and their souls trapped, seeking retribution for the wrongs done to them. The workers realized that the hauntings in the corn maze were the children's spirits, reaching out for justice and revenge. The eerie voices and shadowy figures were their silent cries for acknowledgement and healing. The group understood the gravity of their discovery. To lay the spirits to rest and end the hauntings, they had to confront the town's dark past and ensure that justice, even long overdue, was finally served. The journal held the key to it all, guiding them toward the difficult task of appeasing the restless souls and bringing peace to the town once more. Armed with the revelations from the hidden journal, the festival workers, led by Samuel, devised a plan to confront the restless spirits in the corn maze. They carefully prepared a ritual, combining ancient rites and compassionate intentions, hoping to offer the spirits the justice and peace they sought. The atmosphere in the barn was tense but determined as they collected materials for the ritual, including candles, herbs, and symbolic items representing the lost children and #039's lives. On the night of the ritual, the workers gathered at the entrance of the corn maze. The wind howled through the cornstalks, and the air was thick with anticipation. They set up the altar in the maze's center, arranging the items thoughtfully and lighting the candles. The flickering flames cast eerie shadows, adding to the supernatural ambience. Samuel began the ceremony with a heartfelt invocation, calling out to the spirits of the children. The group chanted softly, their voices blending with the wind's whispers. As the ritual progressed, the hauntings intensified, apparitions formed, and the ethereal voices grew louder. The workers remained steadfast, their resolve unshaken by the spectral presence. The spirits of the children appeared before them, their faces a mix of sorrow and hope. Samuel and the workers expressed their deep regret for the town's past negligence and promised to seek justice for the children's untimely deaths. They performed the final rites, offering the spirits the acknowledgement and closure they had long yearned for. Gradually, the ghostly figures began to fade, and the maze's oppressive energy lifted. The ritual's success was marked by an overwhelming sense of peace that settled over the maze. The spirits could finally rest, their cries for justice heard and answered. The workers knew they had played a crucial role in healing the town's haunted past, bringing tranquility back to the festival and its beloved corn maze. As the final echoes of the ritual faded into the night, a profound sense of peace settled over the corn maze. The once restless spirits of the children found solace and were laid to rest, their tragic cries for justice finally answered. The oppressive energy that had haunted the maze vanished, leaving behind a serene and calming atmosphere. With the haunting ceased, the corn maze transformed from a place of fear into a symbol of resilience and healing. Families once again ventured into the maze, now feeling a sense of connection and reverence for the lives lost. The community came together, their bond strengthened by the shared ordeal and the victory over the supernatural forces that had plagued them. The fall festival resumed its joyous celebrations, and the townsfolk found solace in the normalcy that returned. The maze became a poignant reminder of their courage and unity, with many visitors leaving tokens of remembrance for the children whose spirits now rested in peace. The story of the haunted corn maze became a legend passed down through generations, teaching the importance of facing and healing from past traumas. The town, now freed from its dark history, thrived, and the festival continued to grow, celebrated with both joy and a touch of solemnity. The festival workers, having faced unimaginable horrors, felt a lasting sense of accomplishment and compassion, knowing they had played a crucial role in saving their community. With the spirits laid to rest, the town gradually returned to normal. The corn maze, once a site of fear and tragedy, now stood as a monument of resilience and healing. Families once again flocked to the fall festival, laughter and joy filling the air. Yet, the memory of the haunting events was never far from their minds. The legend of the haunted corn maze became a cautionary tale, passed down from generation to generation. The maze, now devoid of supernatural presence, was a place of reflection and reverence. Visitors left offerings of flowers and mementos at its entrance, honoring the spirits of the children and acknowledging the dark past. Despite the town's efforts to move forward, a subtle unease lingered. On quiet nights, the wind seemed to carry faint whispers, reminding the townsfolk of the spirits they had helped put to rest. Shadows danced strangely in the moonlight, and an occasional chill would pass through, stirring memories of the maze's haunting history. The community remained united, their bond fortified by the ordeal they had faced together. They took solace in knowing they had done the right thing, even as they grappled with the lingering echoes of the past. The corn maze, once a symbol of fear, now represented the town's capacity for courage, compassion, and healing. As the seasons turned and the years passed, the story of the haunted corn maze continued to be told, its lessons resonating with each new generation. The maze stood as a testament to the town's journey through darkness and their triumph over the unknown, a reminder that even in the face of fear, hope and unity could prevail.